Alright, so you all have been waiting for this, the ultimate comparison between the 70mai A510 and the 70mai A810. But before I move on and show you all the details, here's just something which I need you to take a look at. So I was driving my car on a flyover at a speed of about 40 kilometers per hour, and then suddenly this happened. Did you see what happened? Let me just rewind back and show you it again. So as I was casually driving, a two-wheeler overtook me from the wrong side, swerved to the left and almost missed the other two-wheeler and zoomed past me even before I could realize what actually happened. So this is a common problem faced by most car drivers, and for the fact that this happened at night and it happened so quickly, I mean no one would have even recognized that this was a mistake of the two-wheeler if I didn't have a camera. But luckily, I had the two best cameras mounted on my car, the 70mai A510 and the 810. But were these two cameras good enough to catch the number plate of that two-wheeler? Because this happened so quickly, any camera might have missed it out. So in this video, we'll be finding out how good these cameras are, were they able to capture the number plate of that two-wheeler, and how useful they can be when you two face such similar situations. You're watching Travel Tech, let's get started. So here's the snapshot from both the cameras, the A810 and the A510, at a point where the two-wheeler was just about crossing my car. Now at that particular instance, I didn't realize what was happening, but the camera, being a camera, recorded all the events, and this is what you get when you zoom in into the picture of the A810. A crystal clear read of the number plate in spite of the two-wheeler being under the direct glare of my headlight and also being in such fast motion. You see that trademark ghosting effect that you get in the Starvis 2 sensor, wherein you can see the number plate and even the entire vehicle being dragged in the image. But irrespective of such high speed motion, the camera is able to capture the number plate in clear detail. I mean, you don't even have to try and work out the number plate. It is so easy to make out each letter and number in this. But this is a 4K Starvis 2 camera, and this kind of a performance is what I expect from this. But what about the A510, which is a 1944p camera? Let's zoom in and take a look. A very good read again, although you might say in comparison to the 810 it might fall short a bit, and of course that's completely understandable since this is not a 4K camera. But what you do need to understand is that if this was any other camera other than the A510, this would have been a complete whitewash. Any non-Starvis 2 camera, even a 4K camera, wouldn't have been able to catch or read the number plate the way the A510 is capable of in this particular image. Putting the number plate reads side by side, on top is the A810 and on the bottom is the A510. You can clearly make out the higher resolution advantage of the A810 within this comparison. Not in any way saying that the A510 is bad, but both cameras are performing right up to their optimal level, and for the budget and for the price segments they both come in, they are doing justice for the kind of money you're going to pay for these cameras. So comparing some of the important aspects of the A810 and the A510, the A810 comes at a price of about 19,999 and the A510 comes at a price of 12,999. The A810 is available only in a dual channel variant, whereas the A510 you get it at a price of 9,999 for the front only version. The A810 has a Starvis 2 IMX678 8 megapixel sensor, whereas the A510 has a Starvis 2 IMX675 5 megapixel sensor. The A810 records native 4K resolution, that is 3840 into 2160p, that adds up to about 82,94,000 pixels in a 16:9 aspect ratio. Whereas the A510 records in a 2592 into 1944p resolution in a 4:3 aspect ratio, which adds up to about 50,38,000 pixels. So basically this means due to its 4K resolution, the A810 gets around 32,55,000 more pixel count when compared with the A510's image quality. But do these extra pixels in theory account to a real life improvement in video quality? Let's take a look and find out. Now moving on to show you a general number plate readability during night time, since both these cameras have a Starvis 2 sensor. So in this specific snapshot which I have chosen, you get a all-in-one package view of the entire spectrum, the number plate readability you can get from both these cameras. What I mean to say is that the Tata Ultros on the left is under the glare of my headlight and its number plate is under the glare of my headlight. Following that, the white two-wheeler right in the middle of the image is also under the glare of the headlight, and we can try to see the kind of number plate readability you get from two-wheelers at such a distance. Thirdly, the Maruti Brezza, which is moving towards the camera, is now focusing its headlights glare towards the dashcam. So when you try to check the number plate of the Brezza, you get an idea of what these cameras are capable of when you try to read a number plate of a car which is facing towards the camera with its entire glare. So 3 different variations in terms of number plate readability, and you can get all this in this single snapshot from both the A810 and the A510. Let's move on and take a closer look at the A810 sample. So here I've cropped in into the image of the A810, showing you a sneak peek of all 3 number plates. But if we zoom in detail to take a deeper look, the Tata Altro's number plate is crystal clear, no noise, each letter and number is clearly visible. This goes to show how well the Starvis 2 works even when the number plates are under the glare of headlights. Moving on to show you the number plate of the two-wheeler. Now here you can see the difference because the number plate size is smaller compared to a normal car size number plate. But irrespective of that, you can still make out the number plate in this particular image. The power of 4K resolution comes into full effect in this image. I think the number plate reads as K136572. You would agree with me with this, I think, don't you? So this is why 4K resolution becomes very, very important, because if you're trying to read numbers from a smaller size number plate, the 4K resolution is the one which you should definitely rely on. Moving on to the Maruti Brezza, which is facing towards the camera. Now again you see a slight ghosting effect, the trademark effect which you get from Starvis 2 sensor. But irrespective of the fact that the car is facing towards the camera and its headlight is focused on the dashcam, you can still make out the entire number plate without any difficulty, and this is why the Starvis 2 sensor and the 4K sensor are very, very important. Moving on back to the broader view and now trying to zoom in on the A510 sample. Now let's start off with the first image of the Tata Altroz. A very clear image, although I can say in comparison to the A810 you do see some mild blurring, and that's because of the slightly lesser resolution in comparison to a proper native 4K resolution. Moving on to the number plate read from the two-wheeler, a bit more blurry I can say. Although it's not entirely unreadable, with a certain level of difficulty you can still more or less make out each letter and number. Maybe a few letters are more evident than the other, but nevertheless the number plate read is still something which you can at least guess, even if you can't get it entirely readable in one instance. Moving on to the number plate readability from the Maruti Brezza. Again mildly blurred I think compared to the A810, but still very well readable. All letters and numbers are clearly distinguishable from each other irrespective of the fact that the headlights is focused on the dash cam. So let's move on to the mother of all comparisons. Let's put all these 3 number plates side by side and show you the difference between the A810 and the A510. Here it is, the Tata Altroz number plate readability on the left, the white two-wheeler readability in the middle, and the Maruti Brezza readability on the right. So which one do you think is the best among these, and which one do you think performs better than the other? Well, what I can definitely say is that the difference is not very drastic. The 4K resolution really does help the A810 bring out some more details into the number plate readability, especially coming onto the two-wheelers number plate read. In terms of reading a number plate from the cars, I think the A510 performs very well, but falls slightly shorter when you try and read number plates from two-wheelers. Not that it's entirely unreadable, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult in case of the A510's two-wheeler number plate readability. This is where the extra money you pay for the A810 really counts. It gets you that extra edge, that extra zooming power with those extra pixels. So if you're someone who really cares about getting the best possible image quality, the A810 is definitely the perfect camera for you. Moving on to the daytime sample. So here's a car which is about a distance of 20 feet I think away from mine, and let's just zoom in and straight away take a look at the number plate from the A810. A pretty clear image, each letter and number distinguishable from each other, and it's very easy to read this plate. What about the A510? Let's try and zoom in. A very similar image, although mildly blurred compared to the A810, and understandably well it is slightly lesser resolution compared to the 4K resolution of the 810. Putting them side by side, I mean there's no drastic difference. Both cameras put out a more or less equivalent image. I mean there's no drastic difference, and considering the fact that these cameras perform so well during night, you can expect even better performance during daytime. But if you try to take an even closer look, a even deeper look into these image qualities, you can clearly see that the A810 definitely stands out because it has those extra pixels which make the image appear much more sharper and clearer when you compare it with the A510. Moving on to the overall video quality, now this is a side-by-side comparison of the A810 and the A510. You can clearly make out that the A810 has a 16:9 aspect ratio and the A510 has a 4:3 aspect ratio. Again, taking direct look, you cannot make out any difference within these video qualities. In terms of brightness, contrast, in saturation and sharpness, you don't see a drastic difference anywhere, maybe a very mild difference here and there, but both cameras provide excellent video quality during daytime, and there's nothing really you can expect more from these dash cams for the price they are coming at. This is simply a clean, clear and the best possible image which you're ever going to get from a dash cam. Moving on to the nighttime video quality comparison. Now this is at the same time when I was going over the flyover, and as you can see, even during nighttime the image quality, the video quality is very well balanced. Both cameras are offering a very similar kind of a video quality and there isn't a much drastic difference, although there are instances for which you specifically need the dash cam, instances such as these. Now as you can see, the two-wheeler is bent so well, it was swerving so dangerously that could have caused an accident or caused an unfavorable situation for me or the other drivers, and this is where these dash cams really come into effect. Although this particular two-wheeler just flew away within a matter of few seconds before even I or anyone else could realize what happened, this dash camera footage would have definitely helped me out in case some unfavorable situations had unfolded on that particular night. Both A810 and the A510 performing so well and standing up to their expectations is what I would expect from any dashcam, and I'm completely impressed from both these cameras. Moving on to the rear camera quality comparison between the A810 on top and the A510 at the bottom. Surely you can make out that the A510's rear camera has a better contrast levels compared to the A810's rear camera. Not that the difference is very drastic, but it's noticeable. Although in terms of recording the video for evidence purposes for maybe insurance claims or legal cases, both video qualities will stand good. I mean, there won't be a major complaint against the video quality considering both cameras offer more or less the same quality, although I do feel the A510's rear quality is slightly better when you compare it directly with the A810. Moving on to the nighttime video quality comparison from both the rear cameras, here's where the difference becomes more drastic. Take a look at those headlights from that Maruti Baleno, or should I say the Toyota Glanza. You can see those projector headlights specifically well in the A810 sample, but in the A510 the entire headlight is a whitewashed spot. So this goes to show the kind of difference the A810's camera brings in. Although I can say again, similarly to the daytime image, the A510 does offer better contrast, whereas the A810 brings out more details compared to what the A510's rear camera can do. But of course, both cameras are really good enough for evidence-based purposes, and they can definitely give you a proper recording of what's happening behind the car and give you evidence which you might look for when you're trying to get the dashcam for that purpose. So that was a thorough and an extensive comparison between the A510 and the A810. I really think after watching this video you have gained all the knowledge and all the insight which you need in order to make that correct purchase decision. But if you're asking me, I really think that if you have a budget of 20,000, the A810 definitely should be your choice because it has that extra edge over the A510 which can definitely offer you, although not a very drastic, but a noticeable difference between the video qualities. But if your budget is too tight and you really cannot spend beyond the budget of 10 to 12,000 rupees, the A510 will suit you the best because it gives you a near 4K quality, almost the quality that can match up to the levels of the A810. So no matter which camera you intend to buy, the links to purchase each of these cameras is given below in the description, along with the links to purchase all of the related accessories for these cameras as well, including the new suction mounts. So just head down into the description, click on the link and purchase it. So in spite of watching this entire video, if you still have any doubts or queries, you can always write that down. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And do note that this video took an immense amount of work and effort to bring in front of you. So if you guys recognize that effort, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. Also don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. Also don't forget to follow me on my Facebook, Insta and the WhatsApp page. The links to those are given in the description as well. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.